Today we're removing the stereo from a 2000 Infiniti Q45. We see this stereo in shop quite often for the CD player not working, and that's what we have it here at the shop as well. Hopefully you'll watch our video on how to remove, and we will see your stereo in our shop. See our link to shipping on our website for help with that. But today we're going to start with turning the key on, setting the parking brake, and shifting to a lower gear. We're going to open up the center console, and with our pry bar we're going to pry this plastic piece across the top here of the opening up. There are two clips on this, one clip here and one clip here, and they match up with the two openings here, and that releases with pry pressure. Next we're going to take our Phillips screwdriver, and there are two screws to remove, one down here on the left side of the center console, and we're going to move over to the one over here on the right side of the center console. And next we're going to start by grasping this plastic piece and pulling it up. There are three little keys, or tongues I should say, across the bottom, or actually two across the bottom here, and they do fit into the two slots down here when you go to slide it back into in place. Now we're going to start with our pry bar again, and we're going to grasp the back edge of this and pull up, and pry along the edge and pull it up as we go forward, and it will wiggle up, the back edge will wiggle up and pull away from the dash. We have one connector here on the back, and we're going to push the trigger in on that and release it. Sometimes it takes another tool to push down on the trigger. For a complete removal guide, you'll have to see our library on our website. Yeah, push the trigger in. That should release the connector. This one's being a little bit difficult, so most cases we don't cut a lot of this out of the website, out of the videos, so that you see that sometimes there can be difficulty. But this is the connector here, and the trigger sits here on the top. And we've taken our fingernail, a little tool, and push this little notch down, and it releases the lock that's forward. All the connectors in this car are keyed, so they only go one place when it comes time to put them back into place. Now we're going to set that panel to the side, and we're going to move up to the AC vents and start prying along the right side, while getting our fingertips under the edge and pulling to help relieve a little bit more pressure, and pry all the way across the edge of the dash. This is going to bring the vent assembly up out of the dash. There are several clips on it, plastic clips and so on, but they all release with pry pressure, and we have the metal clips that release as well. If you're having problems with removing the AC vents, okay, there is a second way to go in and release with a flathead screwdriver. You can release the lock. And what we're looking at is this metal bracket that's on the bottom, and if you go in through the front vent and get in there, and you can pry it up, and it helps release some of the pressure when pulling this out of the dash as well. And there are two, one on each side. It may take a flashlight looking in through the vents to see it. Next we're going to take our Phillips screwdriver and start along the top edge of the dash here. Remove one screw, this silver screw right next to that screw. And we're going to move over to the right and remove the two silver screws on the right here. This is all part of the mounting bracket that deals with mounting this system into the car. Now we're going to move down to the very bottom down here, and we have a couple screws down here as well. And we're going to remove just the two silver ones on the left. One screw is for holding the front fascia on, the other looks like it's for holding the bracket in place that houses and holds the stereo in place. Again, for our most up-to-date library of removal guides on our website, visit our website. That's Car Stereo Removal and carstereohelp.com. we have the 4 screws at the bottom removed, the 4 at the top. And we're going to back up and pull this whole assembly from the dash. Now this is going to give access to many things back here. And we're going to start with the top controls here. We're going to use our flathead screwdriver to push down on the trigger here and release the connectors. Same with the next. Push down on the trigger. And move over to the left side of the stereo. Of course, the trigger on the first one's towards the outside of the connector. We're going to push down on that with our screwdriver. Move to the next connector. Now these are all the connectors here for the top of the stereo. You can see they're may look similar, but they are all different. They are keyed to fit back to a specific spot. So that will means you do not have to mark the connectors as to where they go. We have connectors up and down both sides here as well, and pushing these triggers down should release these too. Okay, we're going to get the flathead screwdriver in there and push down on the trigger and pull out on the wire harness. There we go. Now the antenna is on a plastic clip here that we're going to pry out of the top of the bracket here, and usually squeezing in on each side of that clip allows it to pass back through the opening. This is going to get us down to the antenna. The antenna has a lock on the side of it, right here on the side, that you squeeze in, and the remaining connectors all have the same little trigger on them for pulling these, removing these connectors. Working on the last connector here, and there you go. We got one way down here in the bottom left corner. Again, all these connectors look similar. These all fit into the car stereo, but they are all different as well. They're not the same connectors, so they fit back to one spot. No sense in labeling these connectors. Now we're going to take this stereo up to the shop, and we're going to remove several of the screws on the side. Sometimes this is a very simple job, sometimes it isn't, depending on how well the screws were put in. And this one takes a little bit of muscle to release these 4 screws on this stereo. This will remove 3 of the mounting screws. You're also going to have to remove the 4th mounting screw, is remove the front face, because the 4th screw is hidden underneath the we also have 3 screws on the opposite side. The bottom screws here on the front panel do mount into the mounting bracket, so we're going to remove those to help give a little bit of play in the front fascia. We did remove the 2 top screws. Excuse me. Let's back up and remove the 2 bottom screws here on the bottom. Then on the top, we're going to remove the 2 mounting screws up here at the top. We've already removed the 2 down here at the bottom on this side of the mounting bracket. This is going to allow us to get to the remaining mounting screw that holds the stereo into the mounting bracket. With these 2 screws removed, we can separate the front fascia from the car stereo from the mounting brackets. This will allow you access to the 1 remaining screw on this side. And this bracket will come loose. Turn this stereo over and remove the 1 remaining screw here on the left side of the stereo. Now we are going to mount this bracket back into the front fascia and put it back into the dash while we keep the stereo in the shop for repair for a day or so. Hope this video has been helpful. This is how you remove the stereo. Infiniti Bose stereo from a 2000 Infiniti Q45. Hope this video has been helpful. Thank you for watching. See our full library at carstereohelp.com.